Welcome to Confessions of a PT. In this week's episode, we're going to be speaking about women empowerment and women's self-confidence. And we would like to welcome our special guest, Miss Jasmine Dawn. Would you like to introduce?
Yeah, I'm Jasmine Dawn. I am now a female online coach, fitness coach. I work with females, especially just to build self-confidence, whatever that might look like. For a lot of women, it's the process of losing weight. But I think once they start the journey, it's more working on themselves. And that's because I've done my own journey, and that's sort of where it comes from.
Yeah. And I want to go a little bit deeper into that. I feel like when a coach has been on their own journey, I feel like your journey in particular is like very relatable, from like having no confidence to now. Could you sort of go into where you started?
Yeah, I suppose when I was younger, so probably my teenage years were the worst. I had very little self-confidence. Like my confidence was just on the floor. I was very shy, very quiet, and that was because I hated what I looked like. For me, it wasn't like my body. It was I had an underbite, so my jaw was basically the wrong way around, and I used to get bullied for it. So that's where a lot of that came from. Just feeling not worthy enough. All those emotions that come with just basically feeling ugly. And I was bullied for it quite a lot. And throughout my teenage years, it was almost like I felt like trapped in someone else's body that I couldn't get out of. And I think now when females come to me, I can relate, because when they say like they hate what they see in the mirror, that's exactly what I felt like. And for me, like for some days I couldn't even leave the house. Like I used to look at the mirror and think, like, I just physically couldn't leave the house because of how I looked like. Yeah. So when women say they hate what they see in the mirror, I totally understand that, and I know there's a way out of it. And it's not, the journey is like changing how you look, but it comes from so much more than that.
I think that's so powerful as well. The fact that because people that don't know you would look at you now and feel like you're this like goddess, and it's like, wow, compliment to you. But it's true, isn't it? But then you see like what old Jazz was, and that connection, I think, with someone, and that buy-in from the client. I mean, me and Matt spoke about on previous podcasts, but everyone knows what to do.
Yeah.
But when someone's bought into your process and seen you walk the walk as you do and talk the talk, we think it's so powerful.
What was it about fitness that kind of did that for you, like fitness specifically? Because you could have chosen something else, you could like public speaking, learning languages, or something like that to kind of build your confidence. Was there any like defining moment, like in the gym or one workout, where you were just like, this is for me?
Yeah, I think because, so when I had my surgery, I was expecting some sort of miracle to happen. Like I finally had the jaw that I wanted, the teeth that I wanted, but actually the way I felt about myself didn't change. Mm-hmm. And I was almost like, what the hell? Like I've been waiting for this for years and nothing's happened. I still feel ugly. I still feel unworthy. And it was when I started training, it was like feeling strong. And actually, because I was achieving things in the gym, lifting weights in the gym and getting stronger, that I started to believe in myself. And I think that's where like confidence comes from, because you show up for yourself, but you actually can see that you're making progress. In other areas, and then over time that translates into like other aspects of your life as well.
Yeah, I think like fitness makes you feel in control, in a sense that you can map out like your own. There's all these variables in the outside world of things that might happen. People might say things, what's going to happen, but you can focus on your habits and your gym and build your body up, like you say, to get stronger. That's one thing that you'll always have control of, however chaotic the world is. That I can massively relate to that.
It's transferable, I feel like, gym progression to so many other things outside of life as well. I feel like what you said is not that like surgery is materialistic, but just by doing that wasn't enough. Yeah. And I feel like we've said about human nature, you're never happy with how you look. Like and I feel like that can be a driving force for my fitness journey anyway, because I always want to be better. I'm always trying to get stronger, look better, be better in like so many aspects. So
I think that's almost the beauty of the journey anyway, is that there's no end goal,
no ceiling.
There's no ceiling what you can achieve, and that's why like 7 years down the line in the gym, I still love it just as much as I did when I started, and it's a lifestyle, not a sort of thing.
It's the striving, isn't it? They say like always striving, never arriving. Like you're never going to actually like arrive somewhere where oh, I've completed the gym now. It's just doing it just to do it and being the kind of person that
becomes
does it in that. Yeah, but you feel good, like you're always growing. I think that's the key to happiness almost,
So,
I think.
Big question. Are you happy how you look now?
Yeah. Yeah, and do you know what? It's like I still have bad days. I think everyone does, no matter how confident you seem. I think it's just human nature. But I understand that it's just my perception of my body. It's like I know I look good. I know I train to look the way I do. But I do feel happy in myself. But that's because I've created a lifestyle that I'm happy with. Yeah. Like I enjoy the gym, I enjoy eating well, but also I have good relationships, surround myself with good people. The people that I work with, I've built a business that I'm happy with. So it's not just because I feel like I look good.
Yeah.
The way I look makes me feel more confident and it enables me to do other things, but that's just one aspect of it.
Yeah, I love that. It's almost like legs propping up a table. It's like you've got like your business, healthy eating, and that makes it more solid. Whereas if you're only doing like one thing, it's like it's a bit more flimsy. Yeah. What would you say to someone who was maybe in a position that you were X number of years ago when you were struggling with like self-image and, you know, God forbid, being bullied? I know there's a lot of that goes on. Is there any like advice that you would give to that you kind of wish you'd have heard back then that you know now that would have been useful? Yeah,
I almost think it's important to know that it's temporary what you're experiencing. I think when you're, especially like teenagers and when you're in your 20s, it's a confusing time anyway. But I think, I remember at the time I thought that's just how I was going to feel forever. Like I thought I was always going to feel like this. Like permanently. And just, you need to know that it's a part of life to have like the downs as well. And when you start to, I think, focus on yourself, like do something that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be the gym, but I think moving your body is one of the best ways to actually feel better in all aspects of life. Like how you manage stress, anxiety, sadness. I think moving your body, whether it be a walk, a gym, dancing, anything that moves, there's no negative. And I think for me, like when I started training, that's where I realized, I think it was almost a form of escapism from all these thoughts that were going on. Because when you're moving your body, you get out of your head. And I think it's so important to get out of your head. I think a lot of people live in their heads now.
That is huge, actually. Yeah. That's massive.
Right. Love that.
It is.
What was the turning point then, Jazz, and how old were you when you decided to make the decision to do surgery? Was there anything that happened that triggered it, or was it something you always wanted to do?
With my surgery, I remember when I was like 11, 12 or something, I saw my orthodontist and he told me about it. And because already then I was unhappy with what I looked like, I knew then I was going to have it. Such a young age
to be feeling that as well, isn't it? Like,
it's the pressure, like,
I think it was just, I think as soon as I started secondary school, I felt like the odd one out. I felt like I wasn't good enough. I wasn't making friends because I was very quiet, and then that obviously stemmed into other things. But yeah, from the moment I got told that, I thought that was what was going to make me happy. I thought when I'm 18, I'm going to have this surgery and it's going to transform everything. Obviously that wasn't the case, but it led to, like, it was the starting point of me.
The transformation.
Developing that sort of self-awareness.
What's worrying to me about that though is that's, a few years back, probably before social media was even as prominent as it is now. So you can amplify how people would be feeling now.
I
like multiply it by like multiple times.
Going through that now, it would be 10 times worse than
there must be some
bit off topic there, but one of my clients in particular, so her mum and her mum's mum, was like obsessed with like Slimming World all the way through, and she remembers being sat in assembly in infant school, like looking down at her thigh fan. She would have been like 8 years old because, and again, nothing to do with her mum and nan doing it wrong, but their whole perception was around like being fat, and they used to have two sides of the wardrobe, one for like weighing day.
That's crazy.
One 8 years old, and you're thinking, how is that? How are you even knowing about that at that age?
Being
and you wonder why.
Into that,
So, perfect. So in regards to the gym side of things, and when did you get into that? Was that 13 you had your surgery?
No, I was 19 when I had my surgery.
Okay.
And then
you got to be a certain age to have that, then, is it? Or?
Yeah, when you stop growing, when your jaw stops growing.
Yeah.
And then, I've always been active, so I used to do ice skating and dancing when I was younger, and swimming. But I think it was when I moved up to where I live now, and then I used to go to the gym on my lunch break. That's where I met Matt. How funny. And it was just literally, I used to join in gym classes, and I just felt this high of it that I've never had from sort of anything else, obviously in my teenage years or my 20s. That wasn't like going out and getting drunk, but that was me just trying to escape my emotions. This was actually like escaping it in a different way.
Yeah, that
natural endorphins, isn't it, rather than alcohol?
What you said earlier about, you know, getting out of your head, that doesn't get spoken about enough, I don't think. What a tonic exercise is, because the brain is so noisy with survival type chatter and defaults to negative thinking, that even if you can just get a break from that without any sort of super positive thinking, it's massive. You know, I think women are often marketed to, and men these days, that if you go and buy a really nice car or a really nice purse, that is what will give you like the status or the happiness. But like you said, would you say it's more in your experience about the journey that you're on and like the fact you're in control of? Yeah,
definitely. I think it's showing up for yourself. That's not in a way that you have to get something to earn that happiness. It's like you can have that inside you, like just to show up. I mean, like you're saying, just getting out of your head there. That's why I love running in the gym, because you have to get into your body. Like, you have to get out of your head. And then showing up for yourself every day, you just prove to yourself that you are worthy of, like, how you feel. And I mean, even if you have negative emotions, you kind of have to sit with them. But at the same time, you can work your way through them by getting out and doing something that's active.
You win those battles in your mind. That's very like powerful, and it gives you something that no one can take away from you. I think as well. You develop like those characteristics that like you've got forever. Like someone can rob you of all your money and everything you own, but they can't rob a physique that you've built or how you push for those last couple of reps when you don't want to. How you've cultivated that.
Yeah,
definitely. I think that's powerful as well. Like, everyone probably perceives like us as fitness influencers, they were always on it. Like, always, like, it's quite powerful to say that we do have down days.
Yeah.
Remember, like, even posting on social media took me like a good year. Like, I was having panic attacks in my gym office. Honestly, like shaking, like thought I was going to die. Like, it was awful.
It's even, I mean, this week, for example, I've just had one of those bad weeks where I didn't want to train any day. Like, I love training, but this week I woke up, I was like, don't want to train, don't want to run. I still showed up and did it, but I'm not motivated all the time. It's just a part of my lifestyle that I
think that's good for people to know, because people got that warped perception, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all right for you. Like, you love doing it.
Like, I wish I was like you program. Like, well, it's this fucking
so
hard.
Don't love it 365. When it's cold and dark. When it's freezing cold in November, it's like I'm not back flipping out of bed. Like, let's go and train every day. Like, it's just
sometimes, but not all the time.
Often like. A lot of, you know, we all love it, but there's definitely kind of simmers down. You still
have good days and bad days, or even good weeks and bad weeks. I think it's just a part of life, and other factors play a big role. Like, if you've got outside stresses, maybe sometimes fitness does take a back seat, but that's okay. Like, as long as it's still a part of you somewhere.
Self-development, isn't it? Doesn't always have to be. Sometimes the physical side of it has to take a back seat. But I do think that's a real rewarding part of our job, is when you can inspire people.
100%.
I mean, we've done it obviously a few years now. It's just so good to see people that what we were to now, everyone has the potential and capabilities to do that, which I think that's where the magic is in coaching. So.
Do you feel like you're more confident in, because like you were saying, the panic attack, when I first did like a speaking video on
Jazz
camera.
was the one that got me into it though. Honestly, she went on holiday and she was sponsored by Balanced Meals at the time, and she gave me the meals. She was like, only if you do Instagram stories. I was like like fainting, like I went white. I was like, oh my god. Honestly, I was shaking like that. I must have done the first ever Instagram story 50 times and got ripped apart by my mates for it. And now I can't stop getting on the camera now. I love it.
But anything you do for the first time is scary. Like, the more you do it, like, same with anything. Like, if you do a photo shoot, or even doing, like, having a chat today about it.
It's be that whatever makes you uncomfortable, I think most of the time is where the power is.
Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Absolutely. One of the first videos I did, I remember I mispronounced glute bridges, and I I was just nervous, probably like I said like flute bridges, and then I was like, oh, I've styled that out kind of, and then like someone messaged me like, what's a flute bridge? I was like, oh, like all the things they could list, that's but what
you just
stood out.
I think like how I looked as well, I was I've got a lazy eye, like my hair doesn't look good. I was like, oh my God, delete. The amount of times when I first started posting as well, I would post and delete like 5 minutes. It was that instant gratification. If I didn't get that, I'd be like, gone.
Instant likes.
You get so much in your own head. And yeah, I know there's going to be a lot of people out there listening that do exactly the same.
It's a bit like the gym though, isn't it? When you overcome that and then you get like, we're all...
Gym anxiety is such a big, especially I think amongst females, like a lot of clients who come to me, gym anxiety is a big thing, but it's like, I always say the first few times you go, it is going to be like that. But I felt like that. Even if I go to a new gym, I feel like that.
Yeah, I can feel that.
Because I don't know where anything is, or I don't know who's in there. But same with anywhere new you go, the more you go, or the more you do, it just becomes part of your routine, or somewhere you just go naturally.
Yeah, I think the gym anxiety is a big one, because I think a lot of people think of gyms as these places where it's like the haves and the have-nots. Yeah, it's like they have fitness over there, and they're a special breed of people that are all doing handstand clap press-ups.
That's in every episode.
That's become my new thing for like the people.
We live in a world where...
And then there's these, and that's like, I'm not part of that cool crowd, and it almost takes them back to like the, like college, like the meal, where you eat in the school playground. It's like, is someone going to come and sit with me? It's like, there's the cool kids over there, and it's like...
But then I think when you go to the gym, like the only people who look at other people are those who aren't actually sure of what they're doing themselves.
Yes.
Like
100%.
When I go to the gym, not in an arrogant way, but I don't care about what anyone else is doing.
We're all in our own heads.
We've
all got our own issues, our own demons, and it's like, that's why I'm drum and bass so loud. I'm looking out.
You're so right about that. I say to people, like, everyone's just worried about themselves.
Yeah.
So don't worry.
Yeah.
Like, they are not concerned with you.
Definitely.
Or maybe they're looking at you as someone that's new, and they're thinking, oh, wow, I like the gym. Not everyone likes the gym. There's someone that likes the gym. They're like clapping for you.
Thinking that you look good, you're wearing nice leggings, or you never know what they're thinking and why they're looking at you. Or just looking to see what you're doing so they can sort of do something similar. I think a lot of people overthink it, understandably, because I think it's got almost a rep for it with the posers and like the Instagrammers. But I mean, I've met some of my like closest friends through the gym. Like the gym is actually such a friendly place.
That community is 100%. Yeah,
like-minded people. It's like
even like small group PT and that, it's just magic.
When we were talking about the male loneliness, a lot of it comes from people don't have a group of people that get them and what they like and want to move forward together. And when you have, and the gym is something that really bonds those people, because it's so
you're
positive.
You're there for the same reason.
Yeah,
like,
fulfilling your potential.
Yeah, to be better and do better. So yeah, I think community in the gym. I've met some of my closest friends through the gym, so it can be scary, but when you get past that, it's one of the nicest places.
Yeah, I think it's that comparison and jealousy element though, like feeling inadequate, isn't it? It's probably one of the worst feelings, but everyone can win. And like, so when you've got them like-minded individuals that want to celebrate each other's success, it's powerful.
Yeah, that's a good thing what you said there. It's like, it's not a zero-sum game where it's like someone's lean, which means they've taken the body fat collective pot from the world. So like, so if he's got abs, that means that I'm fatter by like distribution. It's like, no, we can all absolutely smash this.
There's always people who are going to either be stronger or look better, or that's just life. And I think you've just got to be happy in what you're doing. If you know you're doing better than you did 6 months ago, then why does it matter what anyone else is doing? Because you can't compare, I think.
I 100% agree. Yeah. So every week what we do, hence the name of the podcast, Confessions of a PT, we often do a usually embarrassing confession from our coaching days. So because we've got a special guest, I'm going to ask you, Jasmine, to do the confession this week. So have you got a confession that you would like to share?
I do, but I'm quite embarrassed to say it now, but it was years ago. So I feel like...
Get that in there first. It was years ago.
It was years ago. I was a lot younger then. And I can't remember... I mean, to be honest, I don't remember who it was. But when I was used to PT... I must have gone out maybe on the Friday night. I had maybe 1 or 2 PTs on the Saturday. So I went out on the Friday night, had a few drinks, too many drinks, probably rocked up at home about maybe 4 a.m. or something.
Ooh, proper night out.
I don't really remember, to be honest. And then obviously I went to do these PTs on the Saturday, and to this day, don't have a clue what I actually did in the PC. I was still probably very drunk and I was very hungover. I think I was just like, you know, when you try not to think
autopilot.
Yeah.
Just like robotic.
And I got home and my sister was like, "What did you do in the PT?" I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "Shit."
That's a proper night out, right?
I don't know.
Done it properly.
But I mean, that happened one time. I'm going to put that on record. It wasn't every Saturday, but yeah, that was one thing that stands out, I think. And then even now to this day, I'm like, can't believe my brain would just.
What a change from
gone.
kind of how you live life now. I should imagine that
the growth is real.
Yeah, the client was probably like, last week we did this, remember? And you're like,
I was like,
yeah, we did, yeah.
Just no one's home, isn't it? Just looking straight at them, like, what do I do now, coach? You're like, two more.
Yeah, behind the scenes.
They had a great session, whatever it was, so
I'm sure,
I can't have been that bad.
You probably had an extra surge of energy. It was probably one of the best ones you've ever done. It's a shame you don't remember it.
Dad's just doing burpees. Look, tequila.
Well, that's well, thanks everyone for tuning in. We will be back same time next week. Look forward to seeing you.